In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the HK-87 Assassin Droid for the Vintage Collection, and this is the second release of him in the TVC line. It's basically just a repaint of the first. He has been making his rounds at retailers lately, especially stores like Walmart in the US, which is where I found this action figure. They did have two on the pegs, but I just got one for now. Perhaps I'll get a second one at some point. And he is part of the Acolyte wave, which is also including Jedi Master Soul, which is actually a really good action figure. When I was, I'm pretty sure the entire wave was on the pegs there, but when I was looking at Soul, I thought, you know, it's a really good looking action figure. It was kind of tempting to get. Perhaps I will at some point. And I think there was also Osha as well from the Acolyte series. I'm trying to think who else there was. It's definitely these three are all within the wave, but there may have been a fourth one as well. But for the time being, this was the only action figure I really intend on getting from the wave. And of the HK-87 droids, this is my favorite appearance of it. I really like how, with the legs here and the arms, it's very reminiscent of HK-47. In fact, if Hasbro ever did a new sculpt for HK-47, which at this point I doubt they will since they did the repack of him not too long ago, I think they could definitely reutilize a lot of the parts, especially with the legs here and maybe even the arms for the extra articulation. But I don't know if that's going to be happening at this point. Well, before we talk more about the action figure, let's just take a look at his card here. It's very nice. Interesting thing to note is he doesn't have the warning or the choking hazard warning label at all on the card, especially in the front, which I know most of the action figures are supposed to have one. I guess with his one accessory here of the staff, they don't really consider that a choking hazard. You see that on some of the action figures every now and then. One that comes to mind is like Bib Fortuna, the Return of the Jedi version. Just something interesting to note. And I have to admit, I was kind of surprised when I first saw this card and it was under the Ahsoka banner. Thought for sure they would do the Mandalorian, because the Black Series 6-inch version of this character, which I do have reviewed on the channel as well, it was under the Mandalorian banner. So I figured, since the reddish color HK-47 or HK-87 droid was under the Ahsoka banner, this one should be under the Mandalorian as like an alternative card. That did not end up being the case. There's an image of the character there from the show. He does have an electrified staff there, which we don't have any electric effects included with this action figure, unfortunately. Still a nice image regardless. And he is VC330. And for his description there, assassins by design, the HK-8 or HK-87 droids loyal to Morgan Elsbeth has served her as tireless bodyguards and enforcers. I have to admit, with this new style card back, I kind of miss the days of having all the action figures in the wave featured on the back. It certainly makes it easier to track of, oh, what wave is this character part of again? Oh yeah. Well, we don't really have that option now. And anyways, that's the card art there. Let's just take a closer look at this droid. There's really not a whole lot more I can say about it than what I've said in the previous video for this action figure here. But I will admit there is one thing I'm kind of disappointed with this newer release. And that is he's missing the droid blaster here. Did not come with this action figure at all, which I don't understand why Hasbro would do that, but they did. And he does have the slot on the back here where you can plug in the droid blaster. In fact, let's just do that right now. Trying to think how that goes again. Yeah, something like that. Interesting that they would neglect that accessory. Not sure why they would. Even if they use the excuse, well, I never really used it in this appearance. I still think A lot of people would prefer to have it. Besides the noticeable different deco, you can tell they did the cape a little bit different as well. It's much more smaller and shorter on this one compared to this droid. And one thing I really like about this is the visor there. They did that very sleek red looking visor. I don't think the Black Series one has that even. Very nice. I like the color scheme overall for this. I like the more tannish body here. Well, this one's just more red. And I do have a hard time getting this guy to stand on a stand, so it's kind of an interesting angle. This one looks like it's more of a mesh of different parts put together. Well, this one here is obviously much more consistent. He has the gray dome here. And definitely that visor is one of the highlights for the head sculpt there. I like the different variety for the capes here. Just something a little bit different. Gives some uniqueness to both droids here. Articulation is the exact same. It's super articulated all around. It has all the various hinges and the ball points that you would want and the barbells. No real difference there. This whole thigh. All the usual points of articulation that you would expect these days. Then yeah, for the accessories, he just comes with one staff here, which is a little bit of a lighter shade compared to the one that comes with the first release. But it's the exact same staff. And just really unfortunate that it did not come with the blaster, and I did not realize that until I picked up this action figure, and it's just kind of disappointing. Sure, if you wanted to, you could take this cape off. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can really say about this droid. I'm glad to add them to my collection. I'm glad to have two of these droids now. I don't mind having the different color ones either. We'll bring out one more character here that's kind of essential for these two. It's Morgan Elsbeth here. And she looks really good with these two. Definitely be having all three of these displayed together. It's unfortunate she did not come with a staff of any kind at all, but if you wanted to, you could give her one of the HK staffs, which that's what makes the blaster extra handy, because you can give her the staff and then have one of the HK droids carrying the blaster instead. But if you've only bought this one, obviously he would have no accessories then. Still, all three look good together. Happy to add this droid to my collection. And if I ever do get a second HK-87 droid, despite the missing blaster, I still plan to get this one because I prefer the deco over this red one. But it depends. I think I'll only get a second or a third droid if it ends up going on sale. This one here is still readily available too online, last I checked. You can get it on sites like Amazon, for example, for retail price. So if you want either droid, or if you're particular about one over the other, still both are quite easily accessible at this time. I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about this HK droid. Would I recommend it for your collection? If you're a big fan of droids, the HK models, it's definitely a must-have for your collection. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about it. I'm glad to have it. You either want it or you don't. It is what it is. I think it has been suggested every now and then that some people would like a troop builder pack of these droids, and I think that would be a fantastic idea on Hasbro's part. Perhaps they will at some point. I think it'd be a huge missed opportunity if they didn't. Only time will tell. Overall, it's a very nice action figure. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support, and check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.